ירח מדבר, כל גודלו כציפורן, וגם זה מאחורי ענק. את גבעות השממה הללו אעשה מדרגות לרקיע, אעלה ואנשוף עננים הרחק, לפנות לך מקום של כבוד, מקום של ירח מדבר. דק ככל שתהיה, שברירי אפילו, את הלילה הזה אתה מאיר. Hello and welcome to the 12th of 13 Lunar Conversations. We've been doing this for a whole year. This is the last Lunar Conversation of the year and of its kind. We've gone through nearly the entire album. Today we'll listen to Desert Moon, which is the last track on the album. And next time we'll conclude with the second to last song, which is Traveler Woman. And just seeing my friend Shelley's beautiful smile lights a smile in me as well. I want to first of all invite two dear friends and deep collaborators, DB Boyko, my co-producer and choir conductor on this album. Hello, DB. Can you believe it? We've made it through 12 almost.
Almost 11 and now 12.
Yeah.
We're on the downbeat, honey.
And I also want to invite our darling Pyeng Threadgill, who I've been collaborating with through all of November on a series of workshops called Letters and Dreams for Our Ancestors. And I want to share this moment with you, Pyeng. Hello.
Yay! Oh my goodness. Number 12. It's
Number
incredible.
12. I couldn't have anticipated what this feeling would be to like get to December and
Right.
you know, close the year and close this long cycle of a creative project that's been like planned, but you don't know what it's going to be like when you plan something, right?
Yeah. Amazing. Amazing.
Yeah. And I'm sorry to say that Jay Clayton, who is supposed to be with us, is having some tech problems, so she may or may not join us at some point, but we're here together. Darlings, can I ask you to share a little moment with me here?
Yeah.
Today, 6 years ago, under a new moon on a Saturday night, with 7 candles in the Chanukiah, in the menorah, I gave birth to my little girl. So it's her Hebrew birthday today. And the stars are aligning in the same way. It's again a Saturday night. It's always a new moon on the 7th night of Hanukkah. So I brought my little guitar Chanukiah, my guitar menorah. It looks a little beaten up, but it's functional, and it's been a bunch of years already. So let me see. I'll try to hold it somehow so that you can see it. And I'll just light the candles with you if that's okay.
Yes.
Mark this moment. All right. And I love this blessing because we're saying thank you for the miracles that have happened to our ancestors and that are continuing to happen for us. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav וציוונו להדליק נר של חנוכה. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו רוח העולם שעשה ניסים לאבותינו ולאמותינו בימים ההם בזמן Thank you. Thank you for
Thank
being with me in
you.
this moment.
Yeah.
And she was born on the hour 1818, which is in about 10 minutes, but we'll probably be in the middle of a video. So
Right.
we'll do this now instead of exactly on the moment. But
Nice.
her numerology is all
Happy
so
birthday.
beautiful.
Yes, happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Mayula.
Aw.
Mm.
How are you both doing? Hello.
Wow. Wow. Good. It's a full time.
Yeah.
Full, right?
Yeah.
So Pyeng, you were just teaching the ancestry workshop in yet another context
In
today,
yet another
right?
context,
Today or
yeah.
yesterday?
Today, I was doing, it was actually the entire Finding Your Voice, Telling Your Story retreat. It's a full day retreat that I offer, DB.
Mm.
And so as part of that, in the afternoon session, we do the workshop that I taught with the Orchard, embodying ancestry, and also this month with letters and dreams for our ancestors. And yeah, every iteration is just super interesting. This was the first time that I was working with people in person. You know, all the teaching I've been doing has been online, and I'm so grateful for that, of course. And you know, honestly, was at first it was a little bit just nerve-wracking because I'm like not in the routine of all the forms that you need to send and the pictures and the photos and the I was like, oh my God. You know, to be in person and to be in this dance space where we were working.
Because you were working with urban bushwomen?
I was working with the urban bushwoman. Yeah.
So
So
great.
that was wonderful. It was really just like, oh my God, to be in person. And to be working with dancers is just like such a treat, you know, such a treat. So yeah, I had a really great, really wonderful day. Super rich.
It's so amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this has been such a great month together. I'm so grateful for that. For this collaboration, you know, I was looking back a bit at some of our email exchanges and things and realizing like we've known each other for a lot of years, but we really came close in the last like year and a half, I would
Yeah.
say.
Yeah. Yeah. We've like been like, oh, let's exchange albums, right? Like I remember there was a time when you were like, I'm going to be in New York. And I was like, yeah, we'll swap albums. And that was several years ago or something now, you know, and I was just reflecting today, even talking to some of the dancers, and I was like, it's interesting. I feel I've grown so close to some people just this past year during the pandemic, who some folks that I knew, some folks I knew of, some folks I just didn't really have strong relationships with, like these relationships that have gotten really strong. And it's all been virtual, you know, and spiritual and energetic, you know, but it's like really fascinating to me how the pandemic has somehow, that's something that I've experienced, you know, as being like one of the fruits of this strange time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I
You know?
completely agree.
Yeah.
And I really found it remarkable this month and how open people have been to this work that's not, it's not light. It was called Letters and Dreams for Our Ancestors, and it was exactly that.
Yeah.
We approached it in a bunch of different ways, and people started to create works from this process. It was really moving to see how willing people were to jump in and do this work through art.
Yeah. And it's, you know, it's really interesting whenever I feel like I announce ancestry is what we're going to be exploring. It's like even just the announcement of that does this thing, you know?
Yeah.
And it does this thing energetically to the room. It's like people immediately, their antennas go up more to their people that are with them, that are always with them.
Yeah.
But it's like when you announce it, you say, okay, we really want you in the room. We acknowledge that you're in the room.
Yeah.
And then that does something where it changes the energy. And I feel like it changes people, within themselves. It's really, every time I watch it happen a lot now. So it's like interesting to just sort of witness that moment where people just like pause, and it's almost like feeling the earth, like going, okay, I'm going to really be present to the earth,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I also feel like it's opening our ears, our consciousness, our ability to listen.
Yeah.
Even for people who don't usually find that kind of practice very easy.
Yeah.
When you talk about ancestors, something perks up and like, what can I hear from them? Even if you're cynical,
Yes.
even if you have your boundaries with that,
Yeah.
something comes in from
Yeah.
just the mention of the word.
Just the mention. Exactly. Yeah.
What do you think? Should we watch a little video montage of some of the works? It's not even everything. It's just a few things that people have sent. Should we watch it? Let's do it.
Let's do it.
It starts with your great-great-grandma. The
Yes.
photo. I added it in
Great.
after all. I couldn't resist.
You couldn't. You're so funny. I love it.
I'm dreaming of a house. And in dreaming of a house, I'm thinking of you. A house in the country. A place for crafting possibility, for music and art and rest.
Cold outside. Vessels.
And this one, which has a party.
New methods of measuring.
There's
Are they all equal if they're different shapes?
lion's tail.
Which one do you want?
Smell of fauve.
Which one will you be?
Fauve.
Which one is for me?
והשארנו את ילדותנו לפרפר כאשר השארנו על המדרגות קצת שמן, אבל שכחנו את ברכת שלום הננה שלנו סביבנו.
Savta. Nona. Thank you. I see the world through your eyes for just a moment. Pick an orange for me. Let's share in the sweetness, the juice of the earth, trees tended to for forever.
You died when I was 9, and you were 94, 100. Your age was legend. Can I make art of this? Can I make art? Now, I call up the drives to Haverhill, to Brookline, lying the length of the Buick's back seat like a bunk, clutching my bed pillow, my boon companion, named Pillow. The drive seemed endless because I was carsick, but I'm an only child. At least I got the whole back seat singing Frère Jacques with my parents and around, playing 20 questions. Is this art yet? Is this art?
My grandmother, and I'm really interested in her because she's a musician. Here she is in the middle of nowhere in New Zealand, and I mean she's in her swimsuit, but she's tending this little thing called a thermet, which is a fire. It's like a metal thing. It holds water, and then the fire goes up the middle. So I'm kind of waiting for this thing to arrive. It just feels like there's something kind of alchemical that's going to happen when I take it outside, and it's like a focal point for gathering. And a lot of the photos of my grandmother, there's this sort of event. There's the picnic, and there's all the stuff that goes towards the picnic and bringing people together. And I'm drawn to this contrast between how elegant she is and then the wilderness.
The person that I've been thinking about is my great grandma, and her name's Bertha. And this is this picture of her that I just got from my grandma's house.
Did you want to run and hide once you made it out alive? How do you feel inside, Bertha? Oh, Bertha.
Where do I come from? You come from the stars. Where do I come from? You come from the stardust and all the moonbeams of life. Where do I come from? You come from all the souls that ever were here before you, and then some.
Bravo to all these amazing artists.
So awesome. My goodness, the ending with Jennifer's piece, that was so great.
So gorgeous.
Oh, my goodness. Wow. So amazing. So amazing to see them all beside one another. To just feel the variety.
Yeah. There were so many favorite moments for me in this process.
Yeah.
Realizing, watching this, you know, just tiny little intimate moments where people bring that personal connection into their art making. And Julie's question, is this art yet?
Oh, so good. And I love, you know, again, seeing her grandmother's blanket that she, you know, photocopied, and yes.
Yay, Julie, thank you.
Yeah,
and Jay is in the green room saying clap, clap, clap. Unfortunately, we don't know how to help
bring her in.
But at least she's here watching with us.
Totally.
Yeah. I am really interested in what she had to say. Is this art yet? And I was sitting at a dinner table with real live people about a month and a half ago, and there came kind of a voice around the table around what was art and what wasn't art. And you know, that's been my life in terms of curating work, and I've really come to this place where I got really upset, actually, and I just, you know, it is what it is, and we don't have to define it. You know, we're in it, and we need to share it with people so that it's not just the original makers. Those have been been given the permission to do it. It's about giving everyone the permission to be doing it. And so even in those moments of hesitating when the ideas are there, that is the beginning of making the art. So that was very funny. And I won't get upset anymore, but I was really upset, you know.
Yeah.
Like,
I think
and I was defending something that was about some sort of weird space action films, which I never watch and I abhor watching, but I was defending it going, you know, why are we even trying to define what is art and what is not art? It's like, if that's what we believe that we're doing, then let's do that.
Right.
So,
and there's a point of control, right? Like when you define what's not something, then there's something controlling about that.
Yeah.
I think a very defining moment for me in this year was with Pyeng. I think it was in one of your tuning in workshops or something. I can't remember exactly the context, but you talked about having grown up in a home of artists, like how like composing at the piano was a thing, like, you know, that you have to find the time, and that part of your work is about releasing that, is about like practice can happen while you're walking, while you're doing dishes, while you're, you know, and I love that you verbalize that, because I feel that personally I've done that my whole life, but there's always like guilt around that of like, you know, and there's always this like patriarchal kind of concept of I'm not doing things as I'm supposed to, or you know, supposed to's. And I think the question, is this art yet, comes from that place of old school thinking about what is art, and, you know, does this fit into the pantheon of art making?
Right. And it's like there's an implication, like there's almost like an implication of forgetting what art is for, I guess, when you know, there's something that's assumed, and at the same time kind of forgotten, you know, about what art is for. Because, you know, DB, like when you're saying that, I'm thinking, you know, yeah, just like people need to express themselves, like something is needing to be expressed, and that's reason enough, right? And hey, what a great way, thank goodness, you know, to use your energy. Obviously we can see all the many negative ways that people can use their energy, and instead to actually choose to express yourself through art is just like such a wonderful choice, right? But yeah, you know, Ayelet, what you're saying, it's like that, the more, like when I was able to actually really get the words to identify that was sort of the block that was happening for me, it was so liberating, because I too was like, I'm not sitting here long enough. Oh dear. Like, you know, like,
practice 6 hours a day.
Yeah, I don't really
and
like
in fact,
just
you're
being at the
practicing
piano.
24 hours a day, but you're just not doing it in that
how
way.
often work is
way.
getting worked out, you know, behind the scenes. Like, you know, it's marinating so much of the time. There's still so many times when I think to myself, oh God, I haven't written anything down yet. You know, and then I go to write things down and it's like, because I've been marinating on it even when I didn't even think I was. It's like, you know, so yeah, it's really interesting.
People think about art as the delivery point. And of course, if that's our job, then we do need to deliver. That's what a professionalism is about.
Yeah.
And then you think about the love, which is amateur, and how that polarity of understanding is really fraught with problems, because we want to keep the love going there, and many points along the way where things are marinating and things are people are taking risks, and then you go, okay, I'm ready now, and I'm going to deliver something because people are expecting that. But all of that in between is the art making. So, but anyways, I'm really grateful that she kept asking that question.
Yeah. Well, sorry, my dog wants to sing with us. It's
I was
Pony.
wondering if it was Pony or Sabine.
I know my dog is in the background somewhere, but she's lost her
I was
hearing.
gonna say, like, in the context of the orchard, I think part of maybe, Julie, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but maybe part of why this question came up in this work is because for me at the orchard, it's really important to put the focus around art making, because I feel like a lot of these practices that we do, whether it's deep listening practices or multidisciplinary practices or ancestry or body work or all these different things that we touch on in the orchard, are also practices of healing and also practices, you know, that carry into other realms, and those other realms are super important and wonderful. And to me, I feel like the space that I want to be creating is a space for artists, for makers, for creative people. And so it's important to me to bring it back to, we're doing this exploration of our ancestry, and maybe you're going to take it to your psychologist tomorrow. But here, what we're doing is making art of this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's what we do at the orchard. We dream together. We dream weave, we share dream fragments, and maybe you'll take it to your psychologist tomorrow. But here, we're going to make art of it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't need to be finished art. And I loved Juliette Palmer's contribution to this collage, because she didn't make the art yet. Maybe she will and maybe she won't, but it triggered a thing that started a thing that could eventually become art. But the direction, the tuning was towards making of some piece that is beyond our own experience with ourselves and our questions that we ask ourselves.
I loved that fire, water.
I know, me too.
Canister thing. I don't know what it was like. Oh my God.
And she got the thing.
I know. I love the picture of her in the end holding it. I was like, oh, she got it.
Yeah.
So can we transition into listening to this song, Desert Moon?
Yes.
And talk about art making and imperfections in art making. So I've been busy all month long making the piece for us, and also like facilitating this workshop. And then suddenly there was a week left and I hadn't made the video. So I made the video, and it's very raw, but I also kind of love it. And it's kind of like saying mantras through drawings. So I'm sharing this raw piece of video with you guys.
Great.
I hope you'll enjoy it.
מה הקשר ביני ובין הלבנה? ביני ובין הגאות והשפל? והרי אני עשויה בעיקר ממים.
Desert moon, no larger than my fingernail. Desert moon, behind Desert moon, no larger than my fingernail. Desert moon, behind the clouds. Oh, hills of wilderness, I will turn you into a stairway to the clouds. Oh, hills of wilderness, I will climb you. I will blow away the clouds. Desert I will make room for you, a place of honor. I will make room for you, the desert. I will make room for you, a place of honor. I will make room for you, the desert. However thin you might be, however fragile, this night you illuminate. However thin you might be, however fragile, this night you illuminate. However thin you might be, however fragile, this night you illuminate. However thin you might be, however fragile, this night you illuminate. However thin you might be, however fragile, this night you illuminate. However thin
וגדולה. אני מודה לה ולאל בכל ליבי.
Great.
New sleepless nights.
Yeah. Yeah. Really something. Such a beautiful song, such a beautiful piece, such a beautiful song. It's really wild to watch because it's kind of hard. I could get lost in both your visual or the water. You know, it was like, so sometimes it was like my mind was kind of playing a trick on me. I was like, am I looking at the water or am I looking at the drawing? Am I looking at the drawing? Or am I looking at the water? You know, there's this really kind of like hologram kind of thing that was happening. And like you said, also so simple, like there's something really beautiful. I love the moment that you mentioned the clouds and the waves came down, looking just like the clouds. That was like really, really nice moment.
That moment where she says it in Hebrew, and I wrote it out, and then I kept writing it. I wrote it like 13 times. I'm made mostly of water, and just the word water I wrote again and again and again and again. And then I had this moment of like, oh, this is what's happening here. I need to make like a water thing, which is the opposite of desert, but just the feeling of the person in the desert and the person that holds all this water in us, right? And even when we're in the desert, we hold all this water. We are all this water. And we are also all this desert.
Yeah.
It's really an important shared experience because I don't have a lot of experience in the desert. And I live in a very wet climate. And we've been drenched and flooded. And so I think it's so important to share these perspectives of where we are in the landscape and how that affects us. So yeah, kudos to you. I was singing along and yeah, I was having a good time singing along.
I was sending some love to Jay in the chat because wow, how much I love her and how much she's impacted this album. You know, and this whole from this song, when we recorded it, this song was somewhere in the middle of the set, and she said it has to be last. And that comment, she was so clear on that. And from that comment, the whole thing kind of shifted and changed and ended up shaping in a whole other way from her insight, because she's just so wise and so insightful and such an amazing collaborator and mentor at the very same time.
Yeah. Amazing.
Very grounding for us in the studio because we had a lot to do in those couple of days, and to record this live off the floor essentially. So we really needed to have our wits about us, and there was just something very calming around that, and just how she could just funnel right in and you know, get to the essence of what we were working with, and to be able to pass and share it in such a discreet kind of way. You know, her timing was perfect. It was really, really great to have you on board, Jay.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Wow.
Pyeng, I know that you are short for time today.
I am. I'm so glad I got to see that though, and just like listen to the song again. That was such a beautiful piece. Oh my goodness.
I'm so grateful for you and your friendship and your partnership.
Likewise.
Yay,
Thank you.
Pyeng
Thank
and
you.
Pyeng, so nice to meet you again.
Yeah, so nice to meet you again, DB. I look forward to, I tuned into these, and I'm sure I'll be tuning in next month.
Yes. And in
Yes.
person.
Yes.
We're all looking forward to that.
Yes,
Soon.
yes, exactly.
Yes.
Soon. Thank you so much for having
Thank
me.
you. I love you.
Love
And
you.
more,
Love you,
more,
Jay.
more very soon.
Yes, yes. Take care.
Right.
DB, it's you and me, babe.
Yeah.
To contact DB, send smoke signals.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you really don't know how to reach me, you can Google me. I don't have a website, but I am all over the place. But smoke signals will get to me at some point.
I
Yeah.
want to come to your island. We were all on different islands today. Or
Mhm.
yesterday we are, because Laura is also on an island. Is that what we figured out? Or New Year's we're gonna all be on islands.
Yeah, well, you're on Montreal Island. Oh, yes, and she'll
Yeah.
be in Aruba
Yeah.
when we do the last session.
Yeah,
which is
that's
the
right. So
culmination.
next
I'm
month we'll
really
all be
excited
on
about that.
island.
But let's stick to well, let's be here and now.
Yeah. So
And
I
yeah.
was wondering if you would want to our plan was to listen to Birdie soon, but I feel like if we can do that, or we can listen to Shelly first. I just want to stay with the song for a moment.
Mm.
What do you think?
You know, her words at the end really stuck very strongly with me.
Mhm.
So if you want to bring her back in person, well, not quite in person, but recorded in person, there's something very enchanting about her. So yeah, if we can do that, Laura, if
Yeah.
you are okay, Laura's in the background.
I just want to mention about this song. This is one of the only songs on the album that include everybody in the lineup.
Mm.
Right? Because a lot of the songs are either the choir, maybe the choir with one or two people, maybe Jay and the band and me, there are different configurations. And this is one of the only songs where all of us were recording at the same time, the full choir, the full band, and Jay and myself. And we also had a guest vocalist, Andrea Superstein, who added a third voice there in the however thin you might be.
Yeah.
And that was another special day. She recorded that separately. So thank you also super for being part of this project. And Shelly, you'll hear when she talks about it, but it's so interesting, like that this huge song with all of these people, with 18 people recording it, came out of her poem in that time, because she was in such an introspective time, and this is such an introspective song, and it ended up being this bigger piece on the album.
I'm just sending a message to Laura to say stand by for Writer's Corner instead.
Oh yeah.
So
let's do it. Let's hear
yeah.
Shelly's Writer's Corner.
Yeah.
מה הקשר ביני ובין הלבנה? ביני ובין הגאות והשפל? והרי אני עשויה בעיקר ממים.
Seven years ago, or 8 years ago, I used to live in the desert, unlike now. And I used to live in a commune. I was upbringing kids. My children came to the world one after the other. And my job was caregiving for 8 disabled grown-ups that were living with us in the house. And I was also responsible for 4 volunteers that were helping us out, and my life was just the center of my life was caregiving, and I felt very feminine in that way of the archetype, I guess, the black, round, intuitive places in me were the center, and the bright, shining, glorious places in me were not so obvious back then, or they were not in front. And Desert Moon is a song about that, I guess, about a light that is enough, although it is very, very small, because back then it was enough for me to shine very humbly, to shine just a little, and to concentrate on the places that are more dark and holding, like that are coming from the outside in and not from the inside out. Places that are just embracing, like the darkness. And that was good enough, and it was beautiful. Now I'm a full moon.
כשהיא מהירה במלואה, עגולה וגדולה, אני מודה לה ולאל בכל ליבי.
I love her so damn much. And seeing her talk about this and remembering that place where she lived, and just being grateful for hearing you say, Shelly, if you're listening, that you're a full moon now. And may you stay a full moon for a long, long time.
May we all stay a full moon for a long, long time.
Yeah.
Mm. 12th month. And most of us are no longer uncomfortable with big pauses and spaces in this format. It's been a great learning to not have to fill it up. It's very strangely magnified in this platform, but yeah, there's something about her conversation about darkness that is beautifully saturated and heavy and beautiful.
Yeah.
And I don't know that landscape. I hope that you and I can be there hand in hand together at some point.
I hope
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
At some point.
Yeah.
But there's something also that I'm realizing as we're talking today about the desert moon. First of all, I love that the first song in the album mentions the fingernail And the last song on the album, this song also mentions the fingernail, which, you know, there are many you know, ways to describe the sliver moon, and different people have described it in different ways, but the two different people have described it that way in this context, in this collection, is so beautiful, because I just find it so intimate to look at your own little fingernail and say,
yeah,
this is like the moon. You know, there's something so kinesthetic
yeah,
about this hand, about just looking at your own hand,
yeah.
you know, and that expression. I know someone like the palm of my hand. Do you actually know it? Like, do you spend time looking at your hand, looking at yourself, looking into yourself to get to know yourself? There's something so intimate about this observation.
Mm.
And also it ties so beautifully in with this month where our days are getting shorter and the light is so dim and so small. And then all these holidays like Hanukkah, like Christmas, like Kwanzaa, where there's so much to do with light and birth and, you know, this spreading of light in the darkness. And I feel like that's what this song somehow touches upon, you know, just this being in the darkness and appreciating even the small sliver of light that you're able to receive.
It's magical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also acknowledging the beauty of darkness and embracing that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Embracing our own darkness, our own shadow. Today was not only a new moon, but also a solar eclipse. So, you know, the sun is in hiding today. The
Mhm.
light is in hiding today. And how beautiful is that?
Mm-hmm. I just wanted to go back to say one thing about I hadn't recognized that everybody was involved in this piece that was in the recording studio. And it's interesting because there's such a beautiful sparseness, and the tempo of the piece is so luxurious.
I think it starts at 40
Yeah.
BPM.
Yeah. And I am loving that. You know, I was just loving listening to that again, and allowing music to have that very slow tempo is a teaching.
Yeah. Well, it's almost 7, and Birdie still has some things she wants to tell us for the month ahead.
Yeah.
So I thank you, DB, for your partnership and for this journey. And we have one more to go, so we're not yet saying goodbye to this journey. But for now, let's hear Birdie, and then
I'm going to say goodbye.
and then
I'll
we'll
be
say
here in the
goodbye.
background, but to everyone else who's watching, and I just want to thank Laura Silverman for
Laura,
being in the back room
for
there.
being
And I know
such
that
a
she's got to
partner.
move on, but let's watch Birdie. We'll give Birdie the last words here. And please check us out on January the 2nd, right?
Yes, January 2nd is the very last one.
I'm very excited about that.
Hello, I'm Birdie from Four Directions NYC, and I am so happy to be working alongside Ayelet. I contributed some lyrics to this album, and I'm really happy to be sharing my knowledge and wisdom on astrology and Native American mythology every month as it applies and pertains to what's happening. We are bringing lots of things to a close, literally, not just the year, but cycles from this year. December 4th, we have a new moon total solar eclipse in Sagittarius. And this is the last of a set of 4 eclipses. The first one being back in May 26th. And so basically these 4 eclipses are all around relationships and speaking your truth in relationships, representing who you truly are in relationships, being in authentic partnerships, and not just romantic one-on-one, but your community, your friendships, your things that you're invested in. So like all eclipses do, we're speeding up the timeline. So again, depending on where you've been at in your process of letting go of things that aren't aligning and opening up the new doors, is going to be how much this eclipse feels like traumatic for you. So if you've been going along, you know, this is going to kind of be like the finale to a year of letting go of those sort of things that aren't jiving. If not, it's going to feel like you're being pushed, and specifically like you're being pushed to really let go of these things that you're hanging on to by a thread at this point, with this being the last of the eclipses. That being said, on December 13th, we've got some helpful transits that are going to, I think, gear you towards this again. If you're still behind the curve and you're still having a hard time, are going to let you bring this to a close, possibly by the full moon at the end of the month. But on December 13th, we have Mars moving into Sagittarius. And so that is, again, just really allowing you to let go of all of the irrelevant things, all of the things that are just like preventing you from the pure truth, from focusing on like what means the most to you. That Mars in Sagittarius is going to just boost you and take away all of the things that are futile, that are in your way, and literally in your way, and also in the way of thinking, the obstacles of thinking. That same day, we have Mercury moving into Capricorn. And similarly, but more along the lines of not really caring what people think, you're going to have this ability to kind of get back onto your path and not worry about like what the peanut gallery has to say about it, and, you know, find this route that is possibly not as popular, but it's true to you. And again, these are the keys to aligning yourself with yourself and with this divine plan of the universe that is always to your benefit, but that, you know, we pick up these ideas and things along the way that are distracting. So these are both the opposite of distracting. Super helpful to the whole plan that's been in motion for the whole year, really. On December 18th, we have a full moon in Gemini, which is called the cold moon, and that's when, really, very simply, the Native Americans called it that because that's when really winter arrived and began for this hemisphere. So full moon in Gemini has like full multi-dimensional vision. So anything you've been keeping from your awareness is going to come into full awareness during the full moon in Gemini, which again is going to help you make certain endings, make certain boundaries, see what the true opportunities and potentials and chances are for you. You know, kind of get the 360 vision. That very next day, on December 19th, Chiron, which they call the wounded healing star, ends its retrograde. So this is you coming out of like the deep part of the process and moving into the new reality of like living my life as a healthy person. So the day before you got this full moon, just filling your awareness, reminding you of the road ahead and the journey that you're moving forward into with this pure vision. And with the Chiron going direct, you're going to really start walking in those shoes. And it doesn't have to be fast or pressurized, but you'll feel that switch. Like you're awakening from sort of being like in this realm of healing to living the healing. And what does that mean? And what does it mean to end things that are based on unhealthy patterns? What does it mean to live in the pattern that's helpful and progressive to your wellness and your health? A few days later, we've got the sun moving into Capricorn, which is just going to solidify all of this and like put you in the center of this process. Remind you what the actual tasks are that are involved in this process, like literally, because now we're moving into an earth sign. So it's no longer some abstract thing when you have sun moving into Capricorn, but something that becomes very tangible. Even these things that are seemingly spiritual and mystical, Capricorn brings it into the real, into the everyday, into the mundane, which again I think will be helpful in light of all of these changes, and sort of remind you that it's just one foot in front of the other, regardless of everything that's going on. And we end the month with another beautiful transit, helpful, beautiful, positive, which is Jupiter moving into Pisces after being in Aquarius. So this is going to be what I see as being one of the biggest changes of the year, right before the year ends. Because with Jupiter and Pisces, Jupiter, the planet of blessings, you're coming back into your blessings that you may have been feeling during Jupiter and Aquarius very disconnected from. All these things that you thought, opportunities, doors that you thought were closed are coming back open. Except again, now you've done this cleansing of things you don't need. And so now you're going to be able to bring in the right blessings, the ones that are for you, with all the patience that you had during Jupiter and Aquarius.